stage. And we'll see. Both teams head out into the mid lane, get some wards placed here.
Ooh, they're just about to pass each other. I think they both realize what's going on, where that ward most likely is. Yeah, LGD rushing over. They suspect a ward's been placed down here. They want to see if they can deward it, bait around it perhaps.
All right, looking at any of these facets, I think the scatter shot's a little bit interesting. Bloodseeker went Blood Rush? Really? And Dynamo for Razor. Double Jump, Expanded Armature, and of course, Arcane Accumulation. A lot of those seem pretty normal. The Blood Rush for Bloodseeker, I am a little bit unsure of. Mostly because this hero hasn't seemed super good in general, but the active movement speed as your bonus just does not seem very good because it also costs mana.
Well, perhaps this game you could just outrun a Weaver, which would... That's pretty crazy to think about, but maybe with that active you can do that.
This is actually
this range creep.
Yeah, kind of a cool idea. Like getting this range creep, it will basically push the lane into the enemy tower, which is kind of what he wants to do here. Mid lane, Analog is just going to let Echoes go for the full drain, but he will triple raise stack him, so Echoes cannot come near this. Bottom lane, K1, he's gonna die. That is first blood for New. It is PYW's Clockwork every single time. The problem with this lane, you have Learning Curve Ogre. All he can do is put his body in front of you, and he was, I guess, just a little bit late to the lane. I'm not 100% sure. Unable to assist.
Got hit by a couple cogs, it looks like. I mean, that's what I was saying, right? These heroes, like, you gotta wait till the level 2 before Ogre gets really scary. So really good on LGD to capitalize on this level 1. Weaver with Shikuchi usually can get away, but sometimes you get knocked back by the cogs while trying to Shikuchi away. Shikuchi ends, suddenly you're a slow hero. Second lowest strength in the game after Medusa, tied with Drow. So you are extremely fragile at the start.
Top lane. I actually, you know what? We didn't even talk about this. They swapped the Clockwork and Rubik. So they actually intentionally dodged the Rubik or the Snapfire into Clockwork lane. And speaking of which, Snapfire top lane in some trouble. Shiro is going to fall low. They get the kill. Davai Lama's got a chase. Does he get the vision for the Void? He will in a moment. He finishes the job as now Y needs to get away from the big old scary Night Stalker, but he's got a full creep wave to tank, so he will just back up.
Some of it might be to swap. Some of it is also probably that Ogre Magi is so bulky that as a ranged hero, Rubik usually just wants to poke for free, but poking an Ogre wouldn't really do much, but Clockwork offers more of a threat versus melee heroes with that battery assault and power cogs. And if I think about what the team needs, you kind of do want another initiator, right? You want someone like Clockwork to have a lot of farm, maybe compared to the Rubik.
Yeah, I'm like trying to look at spells this game for the Rubik to steal. And it,
top lane.
Oh, that is a really good usage of Schofield's level 2. Again, he doesn't have full bore, so going scatter shot here is a little, or ricochet, sorry, not scatter shot, ricochet. It gives you a little bit more potential kill threat, but also Bloodseeker has to be very careful playing in the close range.
That's true. So far, going well for them. And Night Stalker already at 2 bracers, doing pretty decent in the last hits, especially in those
huge
denies.
Wave, dude. Oh my god. Look, he has like a triple wave at his tower.
Yeah,
he's about to be top CS. Bottom lane, we might see King Jungle's in a little bit of trouble. Again, does have level 2 Ignite here since he is, you know, on the learning curve. So
then the denies are even bigger than usual because Bloodseeker depends on healing through these
Snapfire.
last hits. Ooh, nice TP.
He TP'd mid just to help with the... Is this to help with a 4-minute rune? Is that actually why? That's wild. That's a really heads-up TP from Schofield.
Good punish, though, because now Schofield's too low to really fight over
he has a Lotus. They're going to send some additional help to the bottom room with the clockwork, so... Yep, an Analog going to get trapped inside the cogs. Does not have any way out. 2 points Plasma Field, 2 points in that static link. It's enough. I actually really like the Dynamo facet on Razor. I think it's definitely the better of the two. I think for a while people liked the other one, but Spell Amp goes a long way on this hero, especially as you get more and more stolen damage late game.
Razor himself has dropped off a little bit, but I don't know if it's like the Falcons effect starting to play again. He seems to just come up every time, no matter what they change to him. Yeah,
team started scrimming against Falcons, and they get first picked Razored, and they're like, huh, we're still losing to this, I guess. Dvialama, level 5 on this Night Stalker, might just get a solo kill here onto this Rubik. I will go and telekinesis him away. Now going to turn his attention over to Shiro. He's getting a rotation from the Ogre as well. So much damage with the Snapfire as well. As one more auto attack does the job. And, you know, we were unsure, but at first night, he is 3-0, level 5, top CS, top denies. He is having a fantastic time in this lane.
I was wondering if, you know, okay, so he has Night Reigns. The start is good for Night Stalker. Maybe it'll flip. Ooh, mid lane, a second kill on SF.
Yeah, they definitely got him. And guess what? Echoes with his level 6 will just chase down Schofield. This mid Razor is absolutely owning right now, as they will continue to dive here, looking for King Jungles underneath the tower. He's got nowhere to go, and Y is going to try and just tank the tower. Blood Grenade does go out, but they will swap the aggro. Echoes. Ooh,
swap the
Echoes.
Swap the aggro.
Oh my goodness. Okay, he's all right.
Wait.
Oh, he canceled his TP for a haste rune. That is
all right, that's a little awkward.
Yeah.
He went full greed on that.
Yeah, definitely.
But I get why, but yeah, okay. He'll still be happy, right? You kill the SF first, then you run down Schofield here, and you probably thought that was all you were going to get, but then you saw Ogre turn around, you get another kill, and they got some good tower damage. Actually, it looks like it got handled decently. They had a big creep wave there, but I guess after Razor took his entire health bar and tower hits, they couldn't do too much with it.
Yeah, so far, Echo's looking really good in this mid lane. And again, Analog, he is an SF specialist. He's probably one of the better ones that we've seen in this tournament so far. So they have put a lot of attention bringing this Clockwork into mid lane multiple times to try and slow down this Shadow Fiend, and it's worked. Definitely has worked. Whether or not it'll continue, we'll have to see. As bottom lane, the Weaver is getting poked and prodded by this Pangolier constantly.
He doesn't have 6 yet.
Yeah, I mean,
that's quite get the. Yeah, couldn't quite get the chain stun off of that little trench next to the tower. I think that's what he was hoping for, to get a Weaver kill there before the 6 came out.
Oh, he went earned
on the
Pango.
Oh.
We don't. I mean, it is an old build. We used to see it every once in a while from like mid Pangoliers, but lately we've just been seeing, like, you know, mech into Guardian Greaves, because what else do you build on offlaners these days?
Spirit Vessel, apparently.
Yeah, I guess. Needs to keep his distance here on K1, obviously, as if this Clockwork gets in range, he will absolutely go for the trap. I'm surprised we haven't seen, I'm surprised we haven't seen K1 rotate top yet. This happens pretty often from this team, especially when he's on Carry Weaver. They might do it soon, right? Dvialama's level 6. We could see them rotate to the top side and focus down the tower.
I think they almost didn't need to do it this game because Dvialama was doing so well that it's kind of overkill. It's like, I solo kill him anyways. You're really just taking my XP if you come here, so why don't you just stay bottom? And in fact, I actually think we need to see Dvialama move around a little bit. Since like that mid triple kill really went that way of the Razor, and Pango's been doing okay. I thought maybe we'd see him move over, but now that I look at it again, you know, Weaver and SF both pretty good at jungling, so despite some of the early deaths, they seem to be doing okay, so maybe they're just gonna keep trying to hold what's happening here.
Clockwork's been doing a decent job flaring bottom where the Weaver is. Like even onto the gate a couple times as well. So he would, I think, would have scouted a rotation, which has been really smart.
That's a good point. Yeah.
Ooh, Seeds of Serenity is massive for K1 actually. This completely salvages the harassment from the Pango. Well, almost completely, as PYW again trying to sneak his way in through the trees here, but we're gonna see some big rotations. It's Echoes as well as the Rubik. Here they come, Rolling Thunder's out. He just gets chain stunned. As Schofield coming in, looking at Echoes here on the Razor, does to be a little bit careful as the Dark Ascension comes through. Analog going for the Requiem, but canceled. He's gonna be able to send it now as Davai Lama helps finish off the Razor. A 1-for-1 so far. The Rupture is out. Wait a minute, Shiro's dead under the tower. And Davai Lama, he's got everyone pinned back on the backside. This Night Stalker just looking so dang strong. The question is, can they get more? Pango would be amazing, but maybe you settle for a support. PYW falling low, telekinesis to throw them back, but Analog with a raise from downtown. And Davai Lama, his ult's ended. K1 on the side, though, does have a little bit of space. Cookie to get this Night Stalker away. Do anybody else go down? There's going to be the Bugs on through. Looking to go for new now. A big Blood Ride out from this Bloodseeker. Shield Crash comes in. Lots of barrier to play with as they're going to look for Schofield. There's a Razor back in this fight as well somewhere. He's on top of Analog. Who's going to die? What is going on? This fight was like 2 minutes long, dude.
That was a really drawn out fight there. It started off really nice for LGD. They bait out the Weaver Shikuchi, and Shikuchi's on cooldown as Razor then shows up, so they're able to kill the Weaver right off the bat. But then in the process of diving kind of hard on that, all the rotations come in, so then they start losing heroes. And at that point, I think Heroic probably needed to call it back off because they tried to chase down this Pango who has all the barriers and this Cloak, and even earn like some extra healing like in between these fights. The Seeds of Serenity he picked up. Yeah, look at how damage that Pango's doing, 9.5k already. So they take so long, and we're so early in the game that the heroes who got killed off at the start respawn and show back up. Look, they're not done. They want to do it again.
Yeah. They bring the whole team down here, and
so good versus Weaver.
Yeah, they're gonna get a double kill. So they do continue this threat on the bottom lane. They really want this tier 1 tower. They're gonna come through the portal, which they will get seen here. Schofield has a ward. Mortimer Kisses are out. Why? Has to pop a Sakuchi. Yeah, that's the scary part. Rubik's got Sakuchi so now.
Weaver. It's such an easy steal, and then you have the max invis, run up and just insta-lift them. All right, so now that all this fighting has started to settle down, where are we at? 6 and 11. 2k lead going towards the side of LGD, and looks like the Bloodseeker is going to try to use that money for an early Radiance.
Yeah, this is a pretty I would say, I mean, I guess we haven't seen a ton of Bloodseeker, but from the Bloodseeker games I have seen, Radiance is not super common. We're going to see them make a player on the mid lane, punished though by the rotation from Analog.
Wow,
so they get a quick
all
kill.
8 cogs got farmed. I don't think I've ever seen that.
They're like, guys, get it. So much gold.
That's a lot of money. It is like 160.
They do see the Bloodseeker on the top here with a nice placed ward. Analog's going to clean up some stacks. They actually saw why place this ward onto the high ground, so we'll see if they get around to de-warding that. But it is a deep ward to go for right now. They'll just probably play it around the vision.
I suppose maybe some of the idea behind this Radiance. One, I mean, it was a classic item in the past. You farmed a lot with it, but in this particular game, these 3 cores are all very right-click heavy, and none of them want to build an MKB anytime soon. So you'll get a lot of value out of this AoE mischance.
That's actually a really valid point. Yeah, I think it's an interesting build because it will definitely help Bloodseeker farm. The alternative is Maelstrom into either Gleipnir or Mjolnir, which is what we've seen as kind of the standard build. K1 bottom is in so much trouble. The rotation from Y is like, I will re-steal that Sakuchi, thank you. As they will just continue to chase him down, going over the wall, but you cannot get away from this Rubik. It's the main reason we see this counter pick every single time. As the hook comes in from PYW, he's found Schofield. He's going to try and just clean up some of the cogs. Does have a Cookie as well as a Pavis here to maybe play around, but he cannot get him off. Beautiful hit from the cogs there. Really good movement so far from LGD this game, and mostly just punishing this Weaver.
Level 1 death was pretty painful.
Yeah.
Dire are scanning. Radiant's bottom tower
It's just such a hard game playing Weaver into Clockwork and this Rubik, right? There's two heroes that are basically some of your hardest counters in the game. And they're both having a really good start.
Yeah, technically you could argue Weaver can double hit a cog and then run out, and it's true, but I think the ease of execution is, it's like far easier for Clockwork to just hook shot in, press cogs, and if you slip up on the Weaver and you get bounced once, like that could be enough to get you killed because you're so fragile at the start.
Or he just holds the cogs until you Sakuchi, and then you're really screwed,
and then
which is what happens a lot of the time. They will go onto the Ogre as he's playing a little bit of ping pong into the middle. Dude, come on, man. How is this? I don't understand how this facet is balanced. Look at this, dude. 800 damage
so
from cogs.
It's so funny. And something we don't see all that much, PYW actually went phase boots, which, do you even know what the innate ability of Clockwork is, guys? It is that for every point of armor he has, he gets 0.3 outgoing damage amp, which usually doesn't come into play that much, but when you're having a really good game, you can do things like get phase boots to bump up your damage just a little bit.
I honestly did not know what his innate was.
No one knows what it does.
It's never mattered ever in Dota 2 because
it's just the
expanded armature. Expanded armature is so unbelievably broken. PYW with a nice hook set up into the mid lane. Kill goes to Echoes. They will settle for this tier 1 tower. Not even settle. They're just going to take the tier 1 tower. They've got a catapult here. Fortification comes out. Analog does have an amplify damage rune.
And a blink, but I think they saw him now, so.
That is a very fast pipe.
Oh, that's really good. Because that's like one of the tools you have left, right? Is the early damage of Snapfire ult and a really good SF ult. And now that is heavily mitigated by this quick pipe pickup from the Pango. So it looks like the Urn was just a casual extra damage Urn and straight back into the usual auras that we typically see.
They really want this Weaver again in the bottom lane. They have this deep ward. They're trying to make a play on it before it expires. So they smoke down here, but not much time left. So they will not connect on this one. Analog's had a great recovery this game. I mean, we gotta give props to the Shadow Fiend. He is top of the net worth despite what I think he was 5th at one point, just barely above the Weaver.
Yeah,
dude, he's actually just trying to hit the cogs. Oh my god, dude. This guy. How is he so good at this Clockwork? It is insane.
The phase boots helps a lot. He also has the faded brooch, because actually some of the hard part of getting multiple cogs is actually getting to the cog in time
repositioning
and then kicking it. So phase boots helps a lot with that. And
That's
actually a lot
really
of people panic. The best way to handle cogs, guys, because the worst case scenario is you get hit by multiple cogs, and that's what burns so much damage, burns so much mana, does a ton of damage. If you actually follow Clockwork to what side he runs to, it's much harder for him to get the bounce on the cogs, and then you can run through the gap because he kicked that cog open for you, so you get hit by that cog, and then you can get out that gap, and it's harder for him to get the follow-up kicks. A lot of people in pubs still panic. I don't know about the pro scene. It seems to be working here as well, so maybe it's still something people need to get used to.
Very, very close. PYW almost trapping that Weaver once again as they're smoked up, looking for a connection here, and why with Sakuchi is just not an easy hero to gank. You've got to find something else. An Arcane Rune's going to spawn bottom. They will try and bait this. They think it's real, but it's an illusion! It's why that pops it with the Sakuchi. What a disaster for Heroic. And that being said, the Llama forced to pop the Blade Mail. In comes PYW with the hookshot, the cookie on out, but the Llama's ruptured. He's dead. What a turnaround as now Schofield will be next to join his team. No real escape. Double kill for Y.
I don't know if that was an intentional bait or the greatest fortuitous timing. That is so sick. That destroyed Heroic because Yeah, the smoke broke. So you're like, that's real, of course, right? You didn't expect the Shikuchi Rubik to come in.
It popped at the perfect time too.
Yeah.
That was the thing. Like, if they had, like, they saw the Razor coming and they just moved in on the Ogre to go for a Fire Blast, and the second he was like really in smoke pop range, the Rubik entered it. So it's like, there's just no way for them to have known unless they had a sentry down earlier, but it wasn't there. It was a sick play from LGD. Like you said, whether or not it was intentional to bait the smoke or not, but definitely at least to scout the rune.
Yeah, and we're now reaching that point that I kind of talked about in the draft a little bit, which is if you start falling behind on the side of Heroic, making plays with this draft is pretty tough. And I'm not even fully sure. Maybe the SF, Yashikaya, and then, yeah, the BKB. So, like, maybe that's the next play where you initiate with the SF ult and you try to get something done in that time. Otherwise, I don't really know how do you get pickoffs or, like, small skirmish fights, you know?
I mean, he just needs a BKB as well on Shadow Fiend. There's no real safe way for him to enter a fight. There's too many, like, quick stuns that can come out, right? You have hook shot, you have telekinesis, you have just cogs or battery assault as well if he's able to get near you. I think you just have to get BKB, and you have to play for, like, Davai Lama's blink in with, like, the vision.
Right,
Tormentor.
they're gonna get the Tormentor anyways, but that was so incredibly unlucky. The Swarm spawns a little bit randomly when you use it. So he used it to get the Ancient camp, and he aimed it at the Tormentor. He's like, oh, for sure I'm going to hit like one of them, right? And I think it so happened there was a gap where the Tormentor was, and he just didn't get the Swarm of the Tormentor, so they didn't reduce the armor. Or maybe he wasn't in range, so it just got insta-killed. I guess that's the other possibility, but...
I was going to say, I think you need a little bit more minus armor for this. The Pango coming in certainly helps. They also... Is it PYW that has the mech? Or who has the mech on LGD? I just saw
PYW went Greaves. PYW. Or sorry.
No, why?
Why
he
went
has
Greaves,
Greaves on the root. Dude, this Rubik is huge!
Yeah, I mean, he's part of all these kills. Even though he was the position 5, he's actually way more farmed. PYW may be getting a little more active while Rubik gets to do the farming.
Did he get the Tormentor shard as well? I feel like he had to for that amount of net worth.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did. Okay.
I suppose Rubik has been securing kills as well, so
yeah,
he's got some extra money in the pocket.
It's also like just a Sakuchi thing, right? If you get Sakuchi, you just are going to farm absurdly fast on this hero.
Yeah.
So he's got 74 last hits on a 5-position Rubik, which is bonkers. We're going to see them smoke to the top side of the map. BKB done on the Bloodseeker now. They did finish up some decent items here, as I think Lincoln's is delivered. Yep, there we go. So who's going to catch who is the real question. Flare comes out. It does scout Analog. He gets the blink. We're going to see the Requiem on the backside, but Echoes gets the BKB. Analog's going to try and just TP on out. As K1 on the run, we see the Dark Ascension popped as well. King Jungles will just stun up the Razor here in the river, as... yeah, we're just going to see a blink out from the Night Stalker. He needs to get out of here if he wants any chance of living. So, a bunch of spells committed.
Yeah, if Davai Lama can get out, that's not too bad. You got the BKB. It's pretty funny to see that many heroes run into each other and no one dies, but...
I like this cut with the wave cut here. Oh, they actually fought.
Yeah, that's really cool. That's also a cool fort, actually.
Well, a lot of ultimates committed. Mortimer, as our observer is... you know, correctly highlighting. Shadow Fiend, Night Stalker, and Snapfire ults all down, which means that's go time for the Roche. You've got, you know, the Swarm. You've got minus armor from Pango. Very easy. Shiro is going to be the first one to grab the Aegis this game. They've already got themselves a 6K gold lead. We'll see how much they can push their advantage in this 5-minute mark.
Yeah, Heroic's done a decent job of not letting it get too out of control, because I think they were actually a little further behind before this as well. So the fact that LGD just got Roche and its 6K advantage at 23 minutes, considering how a lot of those early fights went, gives you a shot on Heroic. Let's see how this first Aegis plays out. If you can take the Aegis away relatively quickly or manage to hold, like, as long as you don't lose too many towers. I'd say if you lose 2 towers, it's okay. If you lose more than that, that's pretty bad.
Radiant's top tower has
Well,
fallen.
there's your first.
Yep.
Instantly,
So we got
first
one
tower.
more. We got one more to go through. You really don't want to lose all of them off this first Aegis, but they still have 4 minutes.
They are
Ooh,
going to get a
huge.
nice blink. Requiem, they've managed to catch a huge find in the mid lane.
Nice
However,
shot,
the
though.
turnaround, he's got a BKB TP.
Dire's
Good
middle
call.
So Analog will survive. Divine Llama is just, what? Dude, you are kidding me.
Dire's bottom
I mean, he's
tower
got the
is
night
under
vision
attack.
advantage, so that's one thing. But they actually trade towers. They kill the Razor. That's a great grab. 2.4K swung so far off this Aegis in favor of Heroic.
Yeah, this is really good. You didn't kill the Aegis, but you don't really want to push without everyone on your team. So now you have to wait for the Razor, which means you're just wasting down this Aegis time. And Divine Llama, he has been kind of sacrificing his own farm to allow his other cores to catch up, but he's doing very annoying things. We're seeing him try to creep cut. We see him play pretty aggressively and risky, but he sort of needs to do it because it's baiting LGD to follow him a little bit, waste a little bit more time. And yeah, I mean, 3K lead now. It's really not that much at 25 minutes.
No. And this is where Analog starts to get a little bit scarier on this Shadow Fiend. Like, you just want to remember that this hero does continue to scale until you kill him. So he's got his second bonus soul, but he's, you know, closing in on an Aghanim Scepter, which will give him an additional 5. And then suddenly that Requiem plus the Fear Duration talent is a massive team fight ability you cannot afford to get caught by. Right? You need the BKBs to come out, or else the fight is pretty much always going to snowball for the side of Heroic.
Yeah, and he's working on his Ags halfway there and really close to level 20. So that's going to be a huge team fight tool for them as soon as he has both of those, which should probably line up around the time the Aegis is expiring, and maybe you can look to make a big play.
They find K1. Wait a minute. He's stuck. He's going to be forced to time lapse. Does have another Sakuchi to try and get away, but again, you're going to get chased Yeah, you're just going to get chased for it. There's nothing you can do. A fantastic find. Great TP in on Y once again. I mean, K1 has just... he has a lot of deaths this game on the Weaver, and it is not an easy Weaver game. But you have to wonder if you just need to play more defensive. Yeah, his 5th death.
Yeah, he's been having a really rough time this game. He is reaching that point of critical mass that should be a little easier to live, but it's required him to buy Lincolns. He's got a BKB queued up. It means his damage is not that great, and it again goes back to leaning a little bit into this SF ult. Like, if you can delete one hero while fearing others, and then you set up a nice swarm, and then now you're running at them with Night Stalker ult, all of that, that's how you take these team fights. But it's so much easier for LGD to get these smaller fights that, for example, we just saw because of the hook shot, Rubik starting things, the low cooldown Pango roll. They just get to find all these small kills.
All right. Another tower falling in the top side of the map as bottom lane Analog kind of being eyed here by the Rubik, but there you go. Is this Ags done? It's very close. Yeah, 300 gold away, 200 gold away now. Does have the level 20 talent, but they're rotating the numbers. They are going to bring everybody down here to try and slow down this Shadow Fiend. The ward is going to pop him. He's going to go for the TP on out. Can they get in range? They've got the hook shot. That is the best case scenario here for the side of LGD. 2 stuck inside this little cage. As Shadow Fiend dies just before getting that Aghanim Scepter. And he's dead for 70 seconds without a buyback as he bought out some of these components.
I hadn't thought about Clockwork Pango being a wombo combo, but actually you've got like a vacuum into expanded armature plus the blink roll bounce between cogs. That's pretty disgusting.
Yeah.
It was like permanent stun the entire time. The cogs last 8 seconds. Roll is what, like 12 seconds?
Wow, they actually just popped the Mortar Kisses immediately. He gives away Cookie. Does not want to give up the globs to Wise Rubik. As they're looking for a
mission
melee.
accomplished because you cancel the Snapfire ult, right? So then they get to keep doing this.
This is a whole lane of barracks. They actually can't do anything about this. And with that, LGD cracking the high ground here, moving their gold advantage even higher. Weaver does split and take a tier 2 in the top side of the map. Pretty much the only thing they can accomplish while the Shadow Fiend is dead. But some big items now coming out from LG. The Aghanim Scepter for the Clockwork. One of probably the most powerful items you can pick up on this hero. It is so hard to play around. Just the constant triple flare. He just split pushes lanes, as we can see him just doing already. The map, pretty much the only thing they can accomplish while the Shadow Fiend is dead. But some big items now coming out from LG. The Aghanim Scepter for the Clockwork. One of probably the most powerful items you can pick up on this hero. It is so hard to play around. Just the constant triple flare. He just split pushes lanes, as we can see him just doing already.
Yeah, you're already feeling the map pressure on the side of Heroic. It's also really good for these team fights to find the Night Stalker and the Weaver who have really good mobility and are maybe getting away. Plus, Night Stalker pops ult. You have really bad vision compared to him, but if you're spamming 3 rocket flares, now you can kind of fight on even footing, at least in the vision department. And then I guess you have a 9k advantage, so is it really even at that point? Probably not.
So we'll see what the game plan is for LG over these next few minutes, whether or not we're going to see them wait for the next Roshan, which we've seen quite often. The Aghanim Scepter done on the Shadow Fiend. And again, after that Death Bottom, that resets his stacks. So down to 25 is the maximum. And that definitely hurts Shadow Fiend. Like, he's a hero that once he starts getting kills, he never really wants to die.
Yeah, the BKB is arriving for K1. BKB finished on Night Stalker. Like, that's what they've been doing. They've been doing this creep cutting. They've been farming up these items. So, trying to see, he's kind of close to level 20, but not that close on K1. But I feel like you're at the point. You need to try to make a big play. Maybe you can wait for 18 Night Stalker, 20 Weaver, but at the same time, this is the item timing that you maybe can surprise LGD with. But man, LGD is being great about staying together right now. I think they know that these items just came out.
I mean, you also just
from this rocket flare spam.
Yeah, it's like that. Plus, it's just, you know, it just hit nighttime, so they want to play for a fight on Heroic, right? Like, they're going to move around with their Night Stalker. They're going to use that nighttime bonus vision to try and find somebody. Now, whether or not they actually do that, we will see, as they might connect here onto the top side. Plasma field, not scouted.
Under attack.
Big wraparound trying to catch them set up for Roche. It's a short spawn, so after this team fight, whoever wins it will probably get Roche.
We're going to see the flares come out behind them. Smokes are going to pop. They're going to see Schofield. Here comes the Dark Ascension. The Weaver coming in as well, but Echoes, he's just isolated King Jungles, but can they actually take down the Rubik? Held up, the BKBs come down. The Mortimer Kisses are there. They're in on K1 as well, but he just walks away. The Requiem's there, but the double BKBs are out. Analog trying to heal himself up, but he's just bashed up and cannot get away from the Tricore of LGD. They run right through 2 of Heroic as they will look for more. And why he has found another. King Jungles caught from the Sakuching. Rubik cannot survive. This will be a triple kill for this Razor. And that honestly might just be mega creeps, as these guys are dead for quite some time with no spells.
Yeah, that's your Fortify. You don't know if there's buybacks. You're probably guessing there's not, so you're just going to test the waters a little bit, see how much you can get. And I think as you start getting close to megas, you realize what's going on. These are not the greatest tower hitters, though, so I don't think you could just go straight end. I do think getting megas is the safe play, because you can get the megas, back off for Roshan, and then you're in such a good spot.
See, Heroic, they needed the Night Stalker to be the one that actually gets the vision to start the fight. So the fact that the fight starts with, like, Snapfire and Ogre being the first 2 that are found are just, like, worst case scenario. And there it is. Mega Creep's already grabbed, and LGD looking very strong right now. Force Staff getting you out of there. We see the Crimson Guard, the Pipes, the Guardian Greaves doing so much work in these fights, as they're just going to turn on to K1. Telekinesis is out. Rolling Thunder is there. They force the BKB out of him, but guess what? He's ruptured. He's bashed, and he dies. He doesn't get the time lapse. That's got to be game. The GG comes out, and LGD will take game number 1.
The RNG bashes, sealing the deal. But, I mean, it wasn't just this last fight, right? LGD had a pretty good hold of the game. I think their laning state.
LGD is currently up 1-0 after a very convincing and very solid game number 1 performance. But we're going to see if Heroic can pull it back, as both teams head out to the mid lane to get their wards placed.
K1 was baiting. He was swapping his facet in that pick screen.
Dude, no way he goes time
There's
zone.
no way you take Times Square, right? Absolutely not.
I mean,
But
it
he was
depends if
baiting
you
it.
want to win or not. I think
Oh,
that's
you
the
know,
big
I hadn't
thing.
considered that. I hadn't considered that. That's
You
fair.
could just be like, you know, I don't really want to win. I want to make this game incredibly hard, so I'm gonna pick time zone. And then suddenly your game goes from being like a 50-50% like win rate to like 5-95 in favor of the enemy team. So has to be one of the worst facets ever designed in Dota. And no matter how many times you buff it, no one's gonna pick a slow over a stun. Bottom lane, why? Getting quite low. Blood Grenade's out, and Divine Llama popping that Flame Guard, just trying to chase him here. Does have the Fire Spirits, trying to slow it up, and he's... Oh, he missed! Wait. Oh, that's right, the blind...
miss chance on...
Oh, God,
He's
Divine
going
Llama's
for
just
it.
dead.
Oh. Okay,
that is a disaster.
If he had tried to leave, Muerto was probably going to finish him, right? So he he thought he might as well go for it. So I get that. If he hadn't missed, he might get it.
Yeah, it's one of those things where, like, if he doesn't leave, he's coming to lane with 5% HP, or he dies anyway. So yeah, you're right.
And I wish I'd been paying attention to how much mischance he had, because it can't have been that much. It's only Fire Spirits, and I don't think he was like constantly dropping them on Ember.
Look at the replay here.
He might have had like a 10% chance to miss.
Yeah.
Like, I'm pretty sure he gets that kill if it was earlier. He's like, okay, I see how it is. No RNG this game. That's fine.
Yeah. I mean,
Why is ecstatic though? I want to see his reaction. He's probably like.
I mean, it's a 2% miss chance per second. Oh my God, they're taking so much damage. They're gonna die for Schofield. He turns around onto Y. Schofield dies to Shiro though. They are so far ahead in this bottom lane already. 2 kills for this Muerta. Yeah, you don't have great CS, but you've got like boots coming out. You have a completed null talisman. This hero is off to the races.
Dude, it's the bell curve meme. Yeah, the beginning is like just hero kills. They're like, no, you gotta CS. It matters. Like, just get hero kills. Why CS when I can just keep killing the enemy heroes? It's way more gold.
The Heralds were right all along.
Yeah, their Dota is years ahead. All right, well, how are the other lanes doing? Quick look. Top lane we were talking about could be pretty scary. It is level 2 now. This is when that threat comes on. Or Tusk isn't level 2 yet, so they need that. They're trying to get it. They're like killing these creeps. That's scary. K1's like right next to him.
All right, they managed to actually punish Y in the bottom lane. This lane is just a bloodbath. And I feel like it's not going to stop.
Dude, we thought the top Tusk Dawnbreaker lane was going to be scary. It's like, oh, Bat Rider Dragonite is going to be scary. It's the Ember Muerta. Who knew?
Apparently the teams, I guess. Not us.
I mean, does this get easier? Is he going to get points in Flame Guard, or is it just too easy to break? I guess it's too easy to break.
I think you still do it. It scales really well. I think you still get points in Flame Guard, but the alternative is you play for the minus armor off of Schofield and you max Sleight of Fist and you just play the poke game. And yeah,
he's at 1 and 2 right now. Let's see
that's
if he
the
pivots.
idea. I mean, you're against a Phoenix, which is typically 0 armor, had to go for an early Ring of Protection. So I kind of like the idea.
Yeah, and you know, Deadshot plus like the Fire Spirits, if you can dodge with the Sleight of Fist, I guess is also a lot of value. And if you leveled up, you'll have a lower cooldown.
New is farming extremely well in the top lane, has double Bracer already, which, I mean, I would say I'm shocked, but that is pretty much what every offlaner in Dota builds right now.
That's true.
Bottom lane, Y getting aggressive here once again. Schofield has to be careful. Yeah, he's just backing away. Doesn't want to pop the little shredder there, knowing the Ember can't join him. They're doing a really good job at dodging any aggression in the top lane. Like, they've just been constantly dragging. Nice flare from King Jungles there, though. We'll try and meet the creep wave, prevent the drag.
Got it.
It is
As
freeing
bottom
up
lane.
Tusked.
Phoenix getting low again. Oh, buckshot off the mark. Schofield on the run. Dive forward. Y is going to help give another one over to Shiro. 30 HP. The sleight of fist is not enough.
Why do we even try to talk about other lanes? As soon as we start, they start killing each other bottom.
He held his chains. I think he thought he'd get the kill without it, and he's going to regret holding that spell. 2 more deaths in this bottom lane. As they're now bringing Snapfire top, thinking, all right, we've got to get something. Here's the cogs out from King Jungles. Nice time walk out. The shards are there. Snowball to buy him a moment. KJ pops the Fairy Fire. He's going to survive. PYW trying to chase him down, but stuck in between 3. The bash comes out, and Schofield makes the rotation worth it, as they've got to get something going in these side lanes.
Yeah, it's certainly not happening bottom is what he he was feeling. He's like, okay, I'm going top. And that's a good movement. If you can't win bottom and you kind of recognize it, it's really hard to suddenly turn a lane. You're like 1,000 gold behind. So at least try to win the other lanes. And I mean, Faceless is the great lane to get going, right? The faster he starts farming, the scarier he'll get in that late game Chronosphere. And now he's making his way mid.
That was a sick fear from Shiro, pulling Divine Llama in. He's going to be able to heal for a second, but still burns to Y under the tower. Shiro has a lot of Muerta games. For those of you that don't know, he's one of the few people, or few carries that have been playing this non-stop since the release. And one of the few teams that will still pick it, even though, you know, a lot of teams kind of disagree.
Instant D-ward in the mid lane. He didn't even see him. It was just by luck. It might actually bait LGD to think
There's a ward.
they saw him. Yeah, but I'm pretty sure that was just by chance. He was checking up there.
6-minute power rune is bottom. They did scout it. It's an invis. Schofield gonna have to cookie away as he walks right by PYW. Analog, you gotta get this, my guy. Why?
Phoenix is about to die for it?
He's just gonna steal it. Okay, that's huge.
KJ left a second too soon. If he'd stuck around, he could have.
He just cogs and
Power
he's dead.
cogs.
Instead,
Yeah.
they will cogs in the mid lane. Trap the Dragonite in here. He's got these sticky napalm stacks adding up, and he cannot get away. Very good kill, again, from the 2 supports. And we kind of knew this aggression was coming mid eventually.
Yeah, I think Ice Shards actually pushed him back in. He might have still died, but it was a little unfortunate there. I like this adjustment from Heroic, though. They know bottom lane is not what they wanted. Oh, this would be huge.
He's going to get it.
Yeah.
Dude, that is a really sick steal. He's going to die for this, but you are very happy to take away that Wisdom Rune, right? He is 2 levels up, maybe 1 now when they get this kill, but yeah. Okay, and they actually punished Y at bottom as he was maybe trying to make a similar play.
You're a full level up on these supports, and actually they're both fairly... Oh, okay, no, never mind Clockwork. Schofield's pretty close to 6. That's a really early ultimate, and he's going to have 3 places with a Clockwork, I guess, that he could go to and get an easy ult.
I mean, all
really
you have
good
to do is
movements.
slight ill, but yeah. Okay, and they actually punished Y at bottom as he was maybe trying to make a similar play.
You're a full level up on these supports, and actually they're both fairly... Oh, okay, no, never mind Clockwork. Schofield's pretty close to 6. That's a really early ultimate, and he's going to have 3 places with a Clockwork, I guess, that he could go to and get an easy ult.
I mean, all
really
you have to
good
do is
movements
slight
out of
change,
this
right?
bottom lane. I guess that's true, too. Yeah, it's like early enough where a root is still good enough setup.
Yeah, Muerta doesn't have enough HP to live through that, so if you just slight chains her and Mortimer kisses from the tree line, she's gonna die. There's no way. Oh, we're gonna see potential. KJ's like, I gotta get this D ward. Oh god, I'm gonna die for it maybe, but guess what? Here comes the rest of the team. Dawnbreaker coming through. He's got a lasso. He's just gonna try and keep building these sticky napalm stacks up onto this Dragonite, but will they actually close the gap? He's looking for it. Lasso's gonna come through, pulls him back into the fire. Even the Mortimer kisses, and they got him.
Right.
Echoes cannot escape. Meanwhile, KJ trapped on the other side. They do manage to get themselves a trade, but the DK kill much more rewarding, as they will also grab themselves a regen rune on the top side. Much better lanes from Heroic this time. This is about as good as they could have asked for, especially considering how rough that bottom lane looked initially.
Yeah, really good adjustment.
Oh, Analog took the... I actually didn't even pay attention. He took the Arsonist facet. But he's got 6 points, or 6 napalm stacks on that tower. That thing is dead. There's no way that lives. That's cool. I haven't seen the Arsonist facet on Batrider yet. Most people take the other, but Analog feeling they need a little bit of early game tower damage, and I would tend to agree with him now as we look at the draft.
I wonder if it has to do with getting an early lead. Like, sure, you get the kill, but actually taking objectives is what helps you set up to really capitalize on that. And then you look at your team and you're like, yeah, it's got to be me. I'm the one who's got to take the buildings.
Gleaming Hammer, huh? Okay. Yeah, I mean, that one's interesting. It's a cool facet, for sure. I think most people take it. PYW bottom lane looking for Devilama. Great silence from Shiro here. The fear pulls him back in. He's in just the constant silences, but barely remnants out. As Analog just bonking the tower. Lasso onto the Phoenix. Just kills him before he can get the egg off. Quick response from Analog. The computer's lagging as it switches to daytime. That's my favorite part about that facet is everyone's frame rate drops about 70. PYW caught here from King Jungles. He's got a snowball, but can he get away from the clockwork? Looks like he can. Mortimer Kiss is looking for Chiros. The slight chains are there as he's trying to hobble back. Does finish off the clockwork, but can they get the kill? Remnant, it's enough. Devilama goes in instead. Gives his life for it. 5 bottoms to the bottom side of the map. I mean, you get the tower, but it costs you your offlane Ember. It's maybe an even trade at best for Heroic, but I feel like LGD got to be pretty happy.
Well, to be fair, that offlane Ember was already struggling, and you baited quite a few rotations bottom, so that's giving even more space to the Faceless Void top now. Yeah, this one Snapfire ult that missed ends up giving Shiro enough time that it forces the Ember to commit in for the kill.
Yeah. And that's
Otherwise,
what we're talking
you get a
about.
Pretty clean escape.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, that's what we're talking about, though, with the slight chains into Mortimer Kisses. It's definitely enough to kill the Muerta. But the Dawnbreaker ult, just giving so much healing to try and keep her alive, almost does it.
Yeah, she's going to work on a pipe once she has that on the Dawnbreaker. That'll be huge versus... Actually, a lot of this damage, not just Mortimer's Kisses, but the Batrider as well. And even the Ember, we'll see what build he ends up going for, but for now, he's got a Mage Slayer and a Gleipnir queued up, which is a lot of magic damage.
I really like the supports playing around the Batrider right now, like, and this Arsonist, because it actually gives a lot of tower pressure. Like, these supports are really scary to fight into. We saw the impact that they had last game on this Clockwork, so they just... You know, it's really hard to fight into Clockwork, plus now a Batrider who can actually threaten towers, like, easily. Dude, Schofield is level 8. Oh my goodness. That is a high level
4,
Snapfire.
2, and 4.
All right. Well, very even game now. 9-8, only a slight gold advantage for Heroic. K1's been getting the farm and the space he needs, and that's one thing we did mention earlier. Like, your Batrider and your Ember have to be the space makers for you. I don't think we've seen a Chronosphere come out at all. And there's almost no need, right? It's like maybe you could make a rotation for like a Chronosphere into a Snapfire ult, but mid lane, they're going to commit everything here onto Analog. Mortimer Kisses are out. There's going to be a great Cogs, though. They still get their target, which is Echoes. And Dawnbreaker.
You know, you were just saying you hadn't seen a Chrono?
To cancel. Yeah.
Yep, really cool use. I was going to say it's kind of a deterrent that you don't want to go gank the Faceless. You just let him free farm because otherwise he just Chronos and walks away and you waste your time. But I guess that's another cool use of it. You save it. You're throwing the Dawnbreaker here, assuming she can always ult in to join your team, but actually just gets Chronosphered.
Yeah, that makes sense. This is a lot of impact from the Snapfire in this game. 4 points, Little Shredder, mind you, as it's not a build we see all that often, but it is pretty powerful against heroes like the Snapfire, or not the Snap, like the Phoenix, the Tusk, even Muerta, like heroes that aren't super high armor by default. Is they're gonna walk into K1. Actually, doesn't have time walk for 2 seconds. Walrus punches out. He's got to go up towards his team. There's the nice Pavise out from Schofield, as now Analog gonna start stacking up the napalms out. Cookie will connect a huge chains onto the backside as King Jungles is right on top of him. Phoenix is gonna go down first. Is new, trying to just chase after King Jungles, but he just throws back with a hook shot. 2 dead. Great finds from Heroic. I didn't even see Davai Lama making his way up here.
Actually, I didn't either. I don't know if he walked here or he twin gated over. He still has teleport, so
I think he just
can
walked.
still move around.
Good,
but he has the
Mage
Mage Slayer, so he definitely wants to start joining these fights. It's a lot of damage reduction in this early game, where like Phoenix does a lot of damage right now, a lot of damage from Muerto when she pops her ult. So you're doing a lot to keep your team alive.
And he is max chains, by the way. Not something we see all that often on the Ember Spirits, but from an offlane perspective, it makes a lot of sense. You're kind of offering more utility, just that increased chain duration, the damage, as well as the fact he's gone chain gang for his facet, right? So he gets 4 targets instead of 3. So it's just overall a really cool build combined with that Mage Slayer.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Well, despite everything happening, Shiro is still pretty decently farmed.
Yeah.
Hasn't had the ideal fight where he gets to ult and just start firing away. So you can't go too crazy on the side of Heroic, I'd say. You still have to be careful how you approach these fights. But if you can keep building up a lead, you should be able to... Like, I feel soon you can just actually just jump the Muerta.
They see the Tusk here. There's the Blink Lasso, but the counters, they're coming through right away from LGD, but K1's here. The Chrono onto 3. Mortar Kiss is coming through. They really want Echoes, but can they finish the job? Is New actually holding the back. Slide chains from Davai Lama, just chasing down wide, trying to force that egg out from the Phoenix, and he's gonna get it. Instead, jumps onto the other side of the fight. Hook shot in from King Jungles. The Snapfire deletes the egg. New struggling to get away. 6 stacks of napalm as they've set their sights on the Muerta. Surrounded from the side of Heroic, and it's only a matter of time. A team wipe 5 for 0 as Heroic showing their strength in this mid game.
Such a nice Chrono, 3 people in there. That's the Snapfire ult we were talking about. Like, finally, you get the setup. You get to just drop them all on one target. These are actually pretty tanky heroes, so it actually didn't finish up the kill. But then you've got heroes like Clockwork and Ember who are so good at chasing, and you just run them down. And here we get to see it. That triple Chrono, easy Snapfire ult. Yeah, the Bat Rider just building up stacks. And then you get to Remnant in to continue to chase. At this point, the Muerta like came to help, but it's a little too late, and then you actually can't escape. Nice cogs too to guarantee she can't get out.
Yeah, there's so much control. It's one of those things like, we're just back to
Doing it
life.
again.
They've got the Phoenix. They're just burning down this Echoes Dragon Knight once again. Analog has an amplified damage rune and is doing so much work. He's closing in on a Lincoln Sphere, but a lot of people maybe don't know about Analog's build. He plays for like right-click damage late game on this Bat Rider. Like he's someone who will build something like a Witchblade and just run at you. Top lane, he's gonna just continue to look for PYW. He has a snowball here, but yeah, he's gonna use it to go back to the lane, I would imagine. Does at least reset the napalm stacks. Oh, Davai Lama. They actually kill Y on the other side of the map.
It's a good kill to go for the Phoenix. He doesn't actually know, or sorry, the Tusk, because Tusk Blink and the Snowball save is really big this game. The Chronosphere makes it a little tough, but otherwise you can use it to save people who've been lassoed or Snapfire ults coming in, all of that. So they're trying to kill Tusk to slow that down. He actually did just finish it, so maybe you can catch Heroic off guard with that. Maybe we see LGD try to make a play, but they are 11K behind.
They're not done.
18 minutes into the game.
They're not done. There's so much magic damage from these heroes. This Dragonite, a hero that normally feels so tanky, is just like a wet paper towel, man. They just burn right through him.
Is under attack.
And look at his net worth, dude. He has had no game. Analog has absolutely massacred this mid lane.
This is the value of that Ember Flex, right? I mean,
Yeah.
the Ember Flex, because they saw Ember, they're like, okay, we know how to do this with the Dragonite. They get caught off guard with the Bat Rider. And they even kind of knew it was possible, right? They banned the Huskar, they banned, who was it, Shadow Fiend, so they knew they might flex the Ember. But it's one thing to know the enemy plays a weird hero and theorycraft against it versus actually playing it and having to execute on it. And we're seeing, like, this time, Heroics getting what they wanted. This is like such a heroic draft here.
This is a heroic draft.
Yeah, it's caught LGD off guard.
If you showed me these picks, I would 100% know this is heroic. Like, it wouldn't even be close. Like, there's no other team that really does this type of heroes. And they're up 13,000. I mean, this game has snowballed so heavily in their favor. Sanjin Yasha, Maelstrom going to the BKB here on K1. We saw a really quick BKB pickup on the Ember Spirit, one of the fastest so far of the tournament. He's off lane, right? So Mage Slayer BKB. He's not a massive damage dealer. He's just an enabler. As Analog smoking across the map, they are trying to find something. Good dodge, though, from LGD.
Is under attack.
As Dawnbreaker about to get so much vision, she will see them all. So they're out. Dude, our observers are so on point with that. Thank you, guys.
Is under attack.
I always forget to use that map overlay. I think it's a cool idea. I'm struggling to build the habit after like thousands of hours in Dota.
You want my like actual gigabrain take on why they added it? So,
Why?
I mean, you didn't say yes or no, so I'm not. Maybe you
I was
don't,
thinking. I was like, do I want this? Do I really want to hear this?
Sure. Come on. All right, we'll get back to it. We're smoked. You got an actual important thing happening here. They're looking for K1 to blink. The Dragon Tail is out the cookie to try and save him. Does he get the BKB off? He's feared. He's dead. 100 to 0. Egg out onto the backside. Mortimer Kisses chewing through echoes. The hook shot's caught Shiro as well. Can they actually finish the job? The egg is going to pop BKB out from Divine Llama. He's deep into this fight, but can they actually get the job done? Analog's fallen so low. The Spirit Vessel finishes him up, but it's the Ember. It's so far a 4 for 3. Can he get away? The silences from the Muerta were too damn much. The Spirits just spinning in this fight. A triple kill for a PYW, and LGD get the best fight they've had so far. Dude, I love that calling talent. It is by far the best. It is so good.
The facet?
The facet, yeah. Dance of the Dead.
Yeah,
the fact that it counts on
extra
allied heroes too is so sick.
There's so many there. Yeah, okay, we're going to get to see it. So, Face's Void got killed without being able to do anything. Even with the saves coming in, it was just so much change done. So, just straight out of the fight, no chrono, no time dilation, nothing like that. The Dragonite does fall, but it's a pretty good trade, Dragonite for the Faceless. Then you're diving a tier 2. You've got some pretty tanky heroes with heals. Muerta lives for a good amount of time thanks to her ultimate. But even though she's dead, like, look at those ghosts going. It's huge. Oh my god. So the silence catches Ember for so long, and they're actually able to run him down too.
Analog's looking at that fight. He's like, I got vesseled and I got silenced for so long. I couldn't do anything. Yeah, this is where like the Lincoln's Batrider is a little bit of a backfire, because you would really like to have your BKB to just go in, right? But he doesn't actually get an opportunity in that fight to go in on the Batrider, get his perfect target. And a big shout out to just that Dawnbreaker Tusk combo. We said, it's a really strong combo. It does have some counters in this game, but when it works, it looks really good.
I think I can't quite remember the exact lead up to that, but Faceless getting caught is
that's the problem.
A little bit of the issue there. He has the Sanjin Yasha, so the status resistance. So I think the idea was like you bait K1, they jump him, he lives because he gets a time walk off, but he didn't get to get a time walk off, and now he's got his BKB, so maybe he will the next time. But you want him to get the big team fight chrono, otherwise it's really like that's a big part of your team fight. So I think if you can't get that, if you can't guarantee it, it would have been safer to continue to look for these smaller pickoffs where the Bat Rider does excel, right? But it's in these bigger team fights, especially with that Chronosphere, that LGD has a chance. And you haven't given up the lead completely. You do still get the Aegis here, but I mean, they were like 11K or something ahead, right? And now we're down to 8K. So they do have to be careful to make sure they keep a hold of this game if they want to get the win here.
I feel like you are still quite a bit stronger on Heroic, you know? Especially now with the Aegis onto your Faceless Void, you can make that play again, and then LGD, their only play once they get the Faceless Void is to run and hope that you don't get caught by anything, right? They're going to find Echoes here in the top. He still doesn't have BKB. He's going to try and get out, but there's just no way.
That was a very hopeful TP.
Yeah. Batrider does have the Shard. Our Observer was highlighting it. He's going for the Manta style. Like I said, he goes for attack damage on this Batrider core. It's not something that a lot of other people do. They play for, like, you know, like Blink BKB4 staff, stuff like that. He's a damage dealer. He will just be burning these heroes, trying to run them down. Bottom lane, as they will also find the Phoenix here. He's going for the TP. Does he get the lasso? It's so close.
Last second.
Very good TP from the Phoenix.
It's a cool idea as well with the Faceless Void, because you have the Chrono set up, right? So you can just do damage in there, and yeah, with the items he's got, the Grove Bow, you have that. I don't usually think of Bat Rider as a long-range damage dealer, but wow, 5K. Building, taking, long-range damage Bat Rider. It's 2024.
I mean, it really works against towers. Yeah, I was gonna say it really works against towers. That's the thing. Like, once you have the Shard, you just destroy towers. And the Arsonist is making a massive deal. So, I like it. Also, not to mention, his talents make this hero actually insanely terrifying. Once you get your Flame Break charges and then applies Napalm stacks at 25, if it goes that late, this hero can, like, two-shot. Like, you just, like, double Flame Break and, like, attack the carry lasso. They're going to have 10 charges on them.
And actually, another cool idea behind this Arsonist. You get to pressure. Oh, that was so close.
That was unbelievably
Analog's
close.
Pissed. It's like, oh, first the Phoenix, now the Dawnbreaker. Why do I even rotate? What's the point?
That was unbelievable.
You get to put the pressure onto LGD because you put that Bat Rider to just napalm the tower, like the high ground. You're feeling that pressure, like, man, if that gets to 10 stacks, he's going to start, like, chipping it down. We have to go. And as soon as you start committing in and you feel that pressure, that's when that Chronosphere could come out and catch a ton of you. So if you just keep trying to play it safe, well, then that Bat Rider's going to take your tower. So that's a really cool idea, which I think we're going to see come up here since you have all the outer towers now. You got the Aegis. This is pretty much the next play.
They're smoking. They want to collapse onto the mid lane. They know Echoes is here. There's the Blink Lasso. He's got amplified damage. The saves, though, as they come in. Can they bring down the Faceless Void? He time walks for the moment. Egg is out onto the backside. The Chrono, it only catches 2. There's no follow-up. Shiro's got that old running. He's trying to time walk away again on this Faceless Void. He's able to do it, but now you've spent everything on LGD. Can you actually get out of here? The cookie, the chains, it's trapping him to the mid side. PYW up onto the high ground. They've actually got the Faceless Void. That's going to be the Aegis. But they're time dilated. They're taking so much damage. They're hobbling back to the base and it's gonna work.
That is a lot of the ults out.
No Chrono, no more
that's
kisses.
enough to feel they can push, but I think it's kind of tough.
I mean, you
but
could
it's tough
play
on
the
both sides because no one
maybe.
has anything.
Yeah. You could play for your lasso timing to get a pick off, but I don't think you can go high ground anymore.
Time is money.
It would be risky. I think you could maybe do it, but you don't know the exact state of the game. I think so. I kind of understand why they wanted to get a pick off. Obviously, it's easier to get a kill and then go high ground, but without knowing where the Tusk is, I think it's pretty risky. And that's kind of what happened here, right? They go for the kill. The Dawnbreaker comes in. Tusk. I don't think he even got the snowball save on Dragonite, but the supports are there to disrupt. And if the Tusk is in range, then you're committing kind of hard into the snowball save.
Yeah.
Which I guess they were hoping for the Chrono, but they actually jumped Faceless. Yeah, so then he wasn't able to Chrono off that until he had like a moment to like catch himself, and then he Chronoed, but at that point he only caught 2.
itemization is so good from New this game. He's got the Aghanim Scepter in the pipe on the Dawnbreaker, so obviously providing a little bit of evasion for his team. Now, you have a lot of magic damage that you're dealing with, but the heal is absolutely owning. So I really like this pickup. It's one of the classic counters to a Faceless Void. If you're not the one actually caught in the Chronosphere, you just ult the Chrono, and it reduces so much of the potential kill threat from Heroic. So
even with the Facet now, even if you don't have your ult, maybe you just throw the hammer.
Yeah, that's true. And we're going to see a potential fight here. They're smoked up on LGD, maybe thinking they want to actually grab something. There is a ward on this backside that is scouting everything. The ward's going to expire. I think KJ realizes something's up, does get the cogs out. Divine Llama going on the backside, hits the chains. Mortem Kisses just being sent right away. The BKB buying Divine Llama some time. The Chrono catches four, but there's the Dawnbreaker ult once again. Is it enough to save him? The egg comes out. They've got to get this kill. Schofield does manage to do it. Shiro with the ultimate, the BKB now to keep him in this fight just a little bit longer as Analog is stacking up the damage. Can you get out now? The Shiro TP canceled from the Gleipnir, and now the burn. It's caught up. LGD, they can't get out of here. Shiro doing his best. They finish off one. The Faceless Void. The lasso comes out from Analog, but he's got that Vessel on top of him. He needs some help. The chain's out from Divine Llama as well. 3 dead. That's a dieback on your Tusk as New isolated bottom here from King Jungles, and Analog's gonna join the fight. A nice Starbreaker to buy a little bit of space, but it's not enough. Heroic,
creep wave here.
5 for 1. And your tower hitter's alive.
The Bat Rider.
It's the Bat Rider.
It's such a new identity for Bat Rider, but yeah, I mean, let's watch it, right? It's falling. Can you stack? Oh, you can't stack the barracks. Man, that would be so broken, actually, if you could stack the barracks napalms as well.
Not yet, but he can eventually.
Yeah, that's true. You get 2 at once. All right, well, it is going to be the tier 3. Look at King Jungle. He's in the back just setting up the cogs.
I was like, maybe
you're going to lose
range.
at least this set. Divine Llama is bringing the mid lane. I don't think you can go for the win off this. Bat Rider's not that fast at it, but you should be able to get...
He goes through backdoor protection, for sure. There's no way. 10 napalm stacks. He's hitting the building for like 400 damage. Blink Lasso. He's caught the Phoenix. Pulls him with the Ogre Seal. There's the Gleipnir as well. Nice stun out from Echoes, but why is dead? They got a little bit complacent. What a catch. Staggering those death timers.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
This is a full minute. That was a buyback as well, or dieback. So yeah, now a complete minute that you don't have the Phoenix. That could be the Roshan. It's gonna have a chance to spawn in 30 seconds. We'll see if it's a long spawn or not. LGD is definitely hoping for a very long spawn. 3 minutes, please. Yeah, they were climbing their way back in. That fight really broke things up. I think they felt the pressure to make a play because they're falling behind. They see some information there, and that observer dies just as they're going in. And I think that just slowed them down enough that they don't quite get the catch they want. They lose sight of, like, where's Faceless, where's the different heroes. That 4-man Chrono. Such a good setup that actually no one died in. Actually, the Dawnbreaker ult did do its job and got the Phoenix Egg off, but it gave Snapfire time to just waddle up and be like, okay, I know you're going to press Egg as soon as that Chronosphere ends, and I'm going to shoot it down. You don't have a choice. There's no counterplay here. You can't dive away. You will die first. So the Egg immediately gets killed, and from there, the rest of the fight is an easy cleanup for Heroic.
You can really feel the pressure Heroics put on this map. It is 32 minutes in. You have a Dragon Knight, and you've taken 1 tower. Right? That is how good this Bat Rider pick in the mid lane has done. And it's so hard for them to make a play now, because if you don't kill the Bat Rider, I think you just lose every fight, because the longer these fights go on, the more damage he's going to be able to build up. PYW will get the shard. It's not the best, but it's still at least useful. It's pretty annoying to maneuver around in fights.
That's true. And maybe you can mess up the Faceless in the Chrono. It can be a little funny sometimes, the pathing.
I'm assuming KJ has a gem on him now, based on the fact that they're just sweeping through the jungle here, dewarding. Bottom lane, they're smoked up. I mean, they kind of just know that they have to take a fight before they get Roshan, right?
There's the roar.
There's the roar.
think you're getting here in time. It's already down to half. They're making a bolt for it. PYW has a just straight blind blink go for a steal, which even that is not enough unless he Ogre Shield totems.
No.
Yeah, you don't make it in time.
They tried. Smokes for pop, though. Divine Llama just goes right through. He sees them all. Slight Chains catches one to get the hook shot. The Glype here to cancel Shiro. He has to, he has to BKB out on PYW.
He's the Muerta.
They've got the Muerta as well on the backside. Just continue to hold her in place. And, oh, man, Shiro really trying to hold this BKB. They've got another ward. There's the Chrono. It catches two. The Phoenix as well as the Dawnbreaker. And KJ is going to cut him off. Shiro has to BKB. New on the run. Nowhere to go. Mortimer Kisses just continuing to chase. And guess what? Divine Llama is still here chasing him. What a play from the Ember Spirit to end this game. They tie. They draw the series 1-1.
That is so sick. I will have to ask them. I don't know how intentional that was,